What is good with you? It is your boy Travis Kinley coming back to you with another one and with no luck trucking. What is going on, y'all? Let's make sure my audio is working.
What's up, sir?
It's working. It's working. So I just typed in the comment. Somebody says, "Hey, you got your audio working this time?" And literally, when I started the stream, it said tap for audio.
How about
Reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. How are y'all doing?
I'm with reading.
I love it, Liz. You got Discord held down for us there because I didn't think I was going to be able to respond to that.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yes. How y'all doing, man? What's going on?
We're doing good. Just
where y'all at right now?
Give me a second, changing. Yeah, it's a little quiet on our end, but yeah, we're good. We're sitting outside of Houston.
Yeah. Quiet on your end sounds like a good thing, doesn't it?
Well, I'm talking about you. You're quiet on our end.
Oh, am I? Let's see.
I don't know if it's on everyone else or just us.
I don't know. How's it sound? Everybody talk to us here. RN, how's it going? Heathen says, what's going on? It's so good to see you guys. So I told you yesterday, I wanted to start with the question, why no luck trucking, dude? Because the first time you told me, it was, I don't know, man. It kind of spoke to my work ethic.
Yeah, it was basically a conversation that I had with an old trucker, and said something to the effect of, yeah, I got lucky doing this or that. I don't remember the exact details of it, but he said, yeah, there is no luck in trucking. You're never going to wake up and be a millionaire trucking. You're always going to have to work for what you get. So that kind of
man.
Me.
Yeah. So yesterday you heard me and Taylor kind of say, like, he's heard me say that so many times. And I'm usually saying it when I'm training. Man, I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but if you've ever seen a rookie just back, in their first week or two, they always start backing, but it's like somewhere in the process, they don't know which way to turn the steering wheel. So they just guess,
Just see what happens.
And you see, yeah. Dude, you see them like going this way, and then they're like, no. I'm like, dude.
Is even if you turn it the right way, it takes a second or two for it to do what you want. So you're like, oh no, that was wrong. And you start doing the opposite.
Exactly. I'm constantly telling, man.
Wheeling it.
Yeah. You can't guess. There's just no guessing, man. There's no luck. You're not going to get lucky. It's not just going to maybe just happen for you. You're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. You know? Man, dude. So for those Johnson's Logic in the house, what's going on? Time to leave. Ross showed up, is what Heathen said. How are you, Jaded? Chaos. So for those who don't know, right, give us a quick backstory. Like, who are y'all? Where are y'all from? Where are you now? Who are you hauling freight for? Give us a quick backstory.
Well, I'm Matt. This is Liz. We are No Luck Trucking. We started our career with Prime Inc. We both went to the training program at the same time about 3 years ago. And we got our CDLs, so we were on separate TNT trucks for what seemed like years, but it was a couple months. And then we ran for Prime as a lease team for a while. And then our business interests and Prime's interest in us kind of took a different path. So we branched out on our own, and now we're running for Landstar.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And were y'all married? Looks at the title of the video. Man, Johnson's Logic is constantly hating on me, dude. Like, were y'all already like married before? You said 3 years ago.
Yeah, we were already married. We had been married for 3
This summer was 5.
Okay, 2 years.
Awesome, man. That is good stuff. So one thing I heard you say just now is your business interest no longer aligned with Prime's interest. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Well, when we first got to Prime, we just put our heads down. We ran all the loads that they sent us, and we ran as hard as we could. And then we kind of got to the point where we wanted to run less miles with more revenue, and we wanted to run less and less like a true team, more along the lines of what's called super solo, where basically you have 2 clocks, but you don't run them absolutely down to the max. The truck's not running 24/7. We just wanted a little bit of a slower pace. And I don't know, Prime just didn't seem to understand that concept when it was time to send us the loads that we wanted.
Why do y'all like it like that?
Because we actually enjoy each other's company, and we don't want to just be zombies just passing each other, through the curtain when it's time to switch shifts. So, I mean, we enjoy the job. We enjoy each other. So, earlier today we were watching an HBO series. You wouldn't be doing that if you were running the truck 24/7.
Yeah.
There's definitely no time to kind of stop and enjoy life. Anything you want to add on that?
I mean, I feel like we can offer customers almost a better service because we are well rested all the time. We always have full clocks for the most part. One of us always has a full clock. So I don't know. It seems to work better for us. And we just, once you've been driving for a few years, your battery just doesn't recharge like it did at the beginning. So you just get to the point of exhaustion, and rather than go home for a week or something and then come back out, we can actually stay out longer because our batteries just last longer when we run this way. And sometimes we do run team runs. We just ran a team run a couple days ago, but for the most part, we like to be in charge of our pace, and we just weren't in charge of our pace as much with Prime.
Yeah. I think that's awesome, man. I think that's awesome. So Taylor's actually in the chats right now. If y'all have any questions for them, go ahead and shoot them. We're going to get to them in just a second. But, the thing you said about, we actually enjoy each other's company, and we're running true team all the time. Like, you just see each other just passing right there at the curtain,
Yeah.
I know Taylor can relate to that. I know Stacy can relate to that. She's in TNT right now. Anybody who's ever, really ran team can definitely relate to that. Like, you see each other in passing, you kind of throw the deuces up real quick, and then you're gone, man.
And let's all be honest, though, when you're running full team 24/7, there's a lot of times where you're not fully rested.
Yeah.
Like, you have enough to get through the shift, but that's about it. Like, you hit the bed, you're out.
Yeah.
So
you're totally right.
Being well rested and not pushing ourselves to the absolute max, but we also have the option to. So, like, if we wanted to earn more or if we wanted to run harder, we have that option. And that's kind of why we chose to go to Landstar, because we can run as hard as we want one day, and 2 days from now, if we want a solo run, we could do that instead.
Yeah.
So we like the flexibility, and that's all we wanted the whole time, because trying to explain to somebody that's a dispatcher or a fleet manager, like, hey, yesterday I got a ton of sleep, so today we'd like to run as hard as we can.
Yeah.
But in 2 days, when we drop this off, we're probably going to want to run a little bit slower. Because, like, to them, it's like, hey, you got a clock. You're a team. Why is that truck not moving? So we had to branch out and do something that we had the full control over the loads that we take.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So I feel like Stacy is truly going to, and I'm not trying to put you on blast here, Stacy. Lenny, how's it going? I think Stacy is truly going to appreciate this, because Stacy is doing the exact same thing y'all are doing. I guess, Stacy, you're probably getting out of TNT here pretty soon. But nevertheless, tell me a little bit as far as like y'all personally, right? I just want to spend a couple more minutes on y'all personally, because what you're doing is kind of different, right? Like, you're married and y'all literally live in the truck together, right? Like, you're not like me right now. I'm going home like every 3 to 4 weeks or something like that. Home is right there where y'all are right now,
Yep.
So, like, I mean, what's that like? Like, how often do y'all intentionally stop on purpose sometimes, or or do y'all just chill and roll?
Well, now that we're running at a little bit slower of a pace, we haven't really needed to go home much, because now if we don't find a load for the weekend, we just take the weekend off.
Yeah.
And there's not that like huge crunch to make a good paycheck anymore, because the revenue's there. So we can afford to take a day off or two. So if we're somewhere nice, then we take a day.
Yeah. Y'all ever like go on date night or something, get off the truck?
It's a little bit harder now with
COVID.
yeah, like the remnants of COVID and
Oh,
stuff, and
yeah.
Ubers. Sometimes if you're out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
there are no Ubers.
Ain't nobody picking you up, right?
Right? Yeah, you're walking.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
first
man.
we were driving, we did. I mean, we went to Vegas for my birthday right before COVID hit.
Wow.
And I think we left the truck at Salt Lake at the Salt Lake terminal and got a rental car, took it down to Vegas, and we even went down to San Diego for one night to see my sister. And I mean, we stopped in Montana one time to see his cousin. Like we did a lot of the like planned trip, date night type stuff. But I don't know. I guess in the last year and a half now, it's just gotten. I don't know. We probably could go back to doing that more now, but for this past year and a half, it's been so hard to find places that were open or would even let you out of your truck.
Yeah.
So we just got kind of used to just hanging out on the truck with each other. I mean, I don't know. Restaurants are open again, I guess, but last
That's
year
awesome.
kind of hard.
Well, the
That
plan
is sweet.
originally was to sell our house, and then when it was time for
Yeah.
home time, we could go wherever we wanted in the country by just getting a load over there and then taking a few days off. Then the world got turned upside down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man.
we're still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about Landstar. I want to hear about Landstar. That's like what I definitely don't know about. And I'm just kind of looking through the comments here. A bunch of us really don't know about Landstar. Of course, most of my audience is Prime. We got Johnson's Logic in here. Mr. B, I'm pretty sure you're owner-op, right? Or I'm not sure if you're running under your own authority or you can kind of let me know on that. But so how's the switch been to Landstar? You know, as far as earlier we were talking about your interest not quite being aligned. You wanted kind of that freedom to kind of go a little slower when you want to, pick it up when you wanted to. So how was it after the big switch?
It's been really good. There is a very, very steep learning curve
Yeah.
to like get yourself in these lanes that are good and find these good loads consistently. So there was a few weeks where we kind of stumbled a little bit, but so far, I mean, we've still made great money, and it's been a lot of fun kind of learning the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do. And we find some things that we don't want to do again, but we found a ton of stuff that we do want to do. Just the amount of different loads that we've ran, just obscure things. Like we moved a company that was based out of the airport, and they were moving their stuff to Texas to an Air Force base. We've never brought a commercial vehicle onto an Air Force base, and
Wow.
just being on the runway or the taxiway for the airport, that was different. We're looking over 10 feet away from a little private jet that people were taking off in, and we've ran aerospace stuff that weighed less than 600 pounds but paid $5 a mile, and going all the way over to Washington and stuff like that. So it's been good. Just finding these obscure things that we can run.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right. One thing you mentioned just now, you kind of gave me a segue into it, to be honest with you. You mentioned a steep learning curve, right? And I feel like because it is on YouTube, it is public domain. I can bring this up, but maybe you have not seen a video, a few videos recently dropped by JJ the trucker, where he expressed kind of just his frustration with what I would summarize, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I would summarize as the steep learning curve that you just mentioned. I remember him talking about duplicate loads. One of the things he was talking about, loads that were actually kind of canceled already. You're calling, but it's canceled already. So my question is this: number one, in the third video that he made, where he's like, "Okay, not frustrated anymore. I'm chill now." He mentioned he got a ton of comments from people, a ton of advice that he truly appreciated. Many of them DCOs, many not. So my first question is, were you one of those people who left any sort of advice, any sort of like, well, here's how you navigate that part of the steep learning curve? And number two is, if you weren't one of those people, let's say if you could put it, in a couple minutes, what would you tell someone who's experiencing that frustration? Because I feel pretty confident. You know, JJ the trucker might be the only one talking about it, but I'm sure a lot of people experience the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I did not comment on his video. I don't really know him well enough to just give him, because I don't remember him actually asking for advice or asking what to do. And I'm a firm believer of unsolicited advice does not go the way that you think it's going to be. Most of the time.
Also, we're still new at this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not experts.
So we don't, yeah, that was a big thing as well. We don't have the credibility. So I can't be like, this is what you have to do because this is what we've been doing. Like, we've been there almost 3 months. And like half the time we were like, hey, the truck's not on fire. And we made it there on time. That's good, right? But
yeah.
So anywhere we go, before we went to Prime, in the couple months that we were working on going to Prime, selling everything, quitting our jobs, all of that, we watch so much YouTube and joined Facebook groups. And so just from, if that can be called research, we did so much research before doing both of these things. And we had been looking at Landstar, honestly, for a while while we had been at Prime. And I always said Landstar is the only place I would want to go if we left Prime. Some people might not agree with that. That was my feeling. And so we do a ton of research just to kind of fill our time too, you know? So
yeah.
But so your second point, to not get too far off, what advice would I give them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a YouTube channel called Blue Ribbon Logistics. And in that, they have a video that explains the difference between Landstar agents, brokers, third-party logistics, and what is commonly called copy and paste agents. So once you kind of learn how the system works, things that are just part of the process don't bother you anymore. Because I did watch all of his videos. Somebody mentioned it to me that he was having a rough time. So I watched the videos, and there was a lot of things that were not really Prime specific problems. They were just load board problems in general. So when a load gets posted by a broker, they're posting the load and it just kind of sits out there. Think of it as like casting your lure. You know, you throw it out there and you let it soak for a while. And then when you get some interest, like say we call and we're like, hey, we want to run that load. That broker goes back to the customer who is actually paying for the load, and they check to see if the load's available, if it's been covered already, how much money they're paying, and kind of the terms of when it needs to be picked up and when it delivers. So the broker that originally posted that load has no idea if the load's been covered, if it's even available, if it's been canceled. So if you go into it not understanding that dynamic of these people don't know when the load's been covered, and you're calling a bunch of people day of, you're going to find a lot of loads that are already covered or have been canceled. And you could get frustrated very easily. Like if I didn't know the back end process of all this stuff, there's probably some days that we would have been very frustrated, especially trying to book the freight day of, you know, like pick it up that day and deliver it the next day or whatever it may be. And you're calling, 10 loads and 9 of them are saying, yeah, no, that's already been covered. And then it's like, well, one, why is it still on the Landstar board? Or you'll talk to them, they'll contact the customer, and then the customer says it's already been covered, and you're like, why is it still here? But
yeah,
we kind of know the process now of the broker in between does not know if the load's been covered until they get interest in it, because the customer is not going to tell you any of the rate information. They're not going to deal with you unless you have somebody on the other end that's going to haul the load.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I will say I have heard a number of times just on YouTube about people having that specific frustration, them not being familiar with the system that you just explained, and them being extremely frustrated with the fact that, hey, I'm calling about something and you knew it was gone already, but you're not telling me it's gone already. Like, why is it even here? You're burning up my time. Do you all book load same day of, or are you usually a couple days out, or what?
We usually have about 2 or 3 loads booked, kind of back to back, and we try to do it a few days ahead of time. So calling the day of it's a double-edged sword. So day of, if a customer really needs the load ran, they start adding more money. The closer it gets to that pickup time, more money, more money, more money. So if you're patient and you're that type of person that can pick this stuff up and still get it there, you can make a lot more money on that particular load than what it was listed for. And a lot of people do that. I think it's called like last minute freight is kind of the industry term for it.
Yeah.
I don't like it because you're going to get a lot of people that haven't updated the loads. They're already booked. A lot of times you'll run into these agents that have it posted for $2,500, but then when they call the customer, they come back and like, yeah, we can only get $2,000 for it. So that's really frustrating. So the loads that we like to run are kind of too tight for a solo driver to run, but not quite what a true full 24/7 team likes to run. We like it, somewhere in the middle. Too fast paced for a solo truck, but not exactly fast enough for a team truck. So we find these loads usually about a week out, and we don't have any competition really. Maybe one or two other people are looking at the same load.
Yeah.
So if the load's there, we can book it, and there's no haggling. So that's the other side of the coin, is we can't really negotiate the rates because a customer is not going to add money onto it if they don't have to. And if
that far out,
if you have a week on it, you could probably find somebody that's going to run it in a week. So that's kind of the trade-off, is we don't have to play the games like the day of games, but we also can't negotiate the rates as much.
Ross is in here saying you're giving out the secrets.
Secrets? I'm waiting for him to give out the secret of how you can be at home more times.
I know. I keep asking him to go on live, but I don't know if you know his last video. He said he's like taking a break right now. He's got like just taking a break from YouTube or something. He'll be back later. So he said he's not going to go live right now. So
please post
that's
another
it.
Video.
I've been bugging him like crazy. Let's see here. This is how life was before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to read this, what Eddie said real fast. He said it's simple. Two companies simply sharing thoughts and adventures about their road time. This is how life was before politics. It's called talking to your neighbors. Wow. What a concept. Absolutely, man. Certainly. I really appreciate that. So I'm curious, man, if you have any, some people dream of building a whole fleet of trucks. Like what, if there's any sort of dream of a fleet, or if you're just like, dude, we're just enjoying life. Like we don't need to build an empire right now.
Yeah. We get that question a lot. Yeah. Right now, man, we're just figuring stuff out. We're just the adventure right now. We're trying to figure out what we want to do as an exit strategy for trucking.
Yeah.
Because we don't plan to do this until we're grinded to death, like some of the guys that are limping with their left leg that they can't bend, and the whole left side of their arms are like 10 shades darker than the right. So we're trying not to do that. So we're in the position right now where we're trying to have investments for retirement, and we're trying to have something that's going to be another source of income that's not trucking.
Yeah. You looking into anything right now?
It's still a little early, man. We're still recovering from the impromptu leave Prime and buy our own truck deal. So, because the process to get onboarded at Landstar is notoriously long. So we had to spend some money that we weren't exactly planning to. So we're just trying to save that back up and build up the bank accounts right now. But we have some ideas, just a little too early to kind of put it out there in the universe.
Yeah. One thing, just because, 10 counts in the house, man. I don't know. He says my two YouTube heroes, I followed no luck since their first vid. I don't know if you know 10 count, but 10 count is he's like the Tom Brady of the PSD world right now on the pad. I believe he's like 10-0, 11-0, something like that on his trifectas. Like he He's really like getting them all. Yeah, he's getting them all out. Me and 10 Count actually went through orientation together, so that's pretty cool, man.
Well,
He's got an amazing backstory. 10 Count, I'm home until Wednesday, dude. If I could get you on live and tell your backstory, that'd be awesome. Shoot me a text, man. I always look for my phone when I'm on live, and my phone is on live, like shooting in my face. So what was? Oh yeah, I do remember. So, and I know this isn't about. Oh, okay, never mind. But I know this about Ross or Johnson's Lottie, whatever. I know this about him simply because like I talked to him on the phone like while he was kind of transitioning in between, you know. But at least once or twice he described his experience as like pretty like nerve-wracking, like in a almost like maybe walking on a tightrope, like kind of like scary in a way. Hey Evan, thanks for the super chat there. Almost scary in a way. You know, would you describe yours the same way or what?
Yeah, definitely. It was they give you 10 gallons of information to put in a 5-gallon bucket, and you have 10 seconds to process it all before they move on to the next subject. So you were getting hit with a ton of information, and then it's not like Prime where, you know, there's always somebody there to like not hold your hand, but hold your hand, you know, more or less, and get you the information that you need. So then they just like kick you out the door, and then you get in your truck and you're like, now what? Like, what do I do? You know, like, how do I book a load? What do I ask them when you're booking the load? So it was like I said, a steep learning curve, but thankfully there was two of us, and, you know, we bounce ideas back and forth, and while one's driving, the other can be like looking at loads and stuff like that. So being the team, we have a huge advantage.
Yeah, man. I can tell. I was thinking about that when you were talking about, you know, the fact that y'all are not a little more than a solo, but a little less than a team. And I imagine that, like, man, you know, one of y'all can be looking at a load and booking the next load while the other one's moving the truck. It doesn't even, it's really like an office space right there. It's like,
you know, I always feel like anytime that I've messed something up, I'm just going to say in my life, I was rushing.
Yeah.
The way that we run a little bit slower pace just prevents us from making those kind of like stupid mistakes sometimes, you know, hitting something, backing into something, going the wrong way, you know, you name it, just slow down, you know. I mean, I vividly remember my trainer always saying that. He's like, just slow down. You just got to slow down. And I think, I mean, that's good advice for anything in life. Like, if you're going too fast, you're probably going to hit something.
You're totally right. I say it on all the time. Slow and steady wins the race. Yep. Slow and steady wins the race. There's no rush, you know.
But it was
absolutely.
It was wild to kind of see that driving the truck in this job now is only like 10% of the battle. Like, you're expected to know how to drive the truck. You're expected to know how to back. You're expected to know how to trip plan. All the things that you've learned and that was a big part of the job previously, that's only a small portion of the job now. Now, like 90% of it is business interaction. Yeah. You know, like running your expenses, doing your taxes, or saving receipts and stuff for your taxes, booking the loads, knowing what questions to ask the agents. If any problems come up, know who to contact, talking to brokers and talking to customers and things like that. We're both semi-introverted, so having to like talk to people on the phone a ton has kind of like broken us out of that shell of not really being afraid, but just not wanting to talk to a customer or a broker or anything like that. Now we'll whip out the phone and call them anytime and try to light some fires and get people to get on whatever issue that we have.
Hey, we got 10 Count's got one. I want to throw this out before I read 10 Count's comment real quick. I would like to see this video. I made this podcast, Should I Run It? Or something like that. I named it something like that. And it was basically the things I consider whenever my dispatcher at Prime sends me a load. I'd like to see something like that on your end. Like you just said, you know, the questions I ask these agents whenever I'm asking about a load. I'd like to hear some of the more, the more common ones. I'm sure some of them are kind of specific to the load you're looking at, but I'd like to hear like some of the more common ones. Like, I'm definitely going to ask these, 3 or these 5 questions or something. That'd be cool, man.
It's a problem of right now is I don't think we have enough time in to have a credible enough experience.
Yeah.
To put that out as a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what is 3 months compared to all these people that have been there for 10 years plus?
Yeah.
So it's like I can put out what we ask now, but I try to tiptoe around certain subjects right now just because we're so new to Landstar in the grand scheme of things.
You're still learning so much.
There's like a certain time frame of credibility, and I just don't think that we've reached that on some subjects.
Yeah, certainly. All right, so 10 Count says, can you talk about buying a truck through the dealership as opposed to Prime's lease purchase program, which I think I saw someone mention that you got it through another company, but basically, can you talk, did you guys take your lease purchase truck? Yeah, everybody's asking basically about the source of your truck. So talk about where your truck came from, and also kind of, compare, contrast it against Prime's lease program if there's any like significant differences or what.
Well, we don't put a whole lot of information about where we got the truck or how. Kind of keeping a little bit of our business life behind some, some semblance of privacy. But the experience of having to go out on the open market compared to Prime, all you needed was a Pulse and $13,000, and you can order whatever truck you want. You wait for it, you get it, and you go. But buying on the open market, it was a little deflating because we had a huge chunk of money, what I would consider a huge chunk of money, and Liz has excellent credit. I have above average credit. So when we actually tried to purchase a 389, it had 250,000 miles. It was a 2018, so it was a pretty good deal. I think it was a little over 100,000, something like that. And the company just didn't even want to bother with us. Daimler Financial,
really,
they just hard passed. So from there, it's like, wow. So money and having decent credit just doesn't get you anywhere in this type of market for trucks, because I guess that company was just looking for top tier credit with the lowest amount of risk and the highest amount of down payment. And if you didn't meet those qualifications, they just didn't care.
Yeah. Market, just with the truck pool, they have every right to be as picky as they want to be. So we went with a place that had trucks ready to go sitting, so we weren't going to have to wait on a truck to be built. And it's been great. I mean,
but on the other side of that, there's a lot of things that we learned as well. Like before branching out on our own, I had no idea what a 2290 was. Federal highway use tax.
Yeah.
No idea. I had no idea how much plates for a semi cost. I had no idea that even transporting a truck before you get on with the carrier is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So there was a huge amount of learning that we had to do in such a short time, because it was like, all right, we overcome the problem of getting a truck. We got a truck, but now we have 2290. We need IFTA stickers. We need plates. We need all this, and we need it in 3 days because we're going to orientation.
Yeah, that's crazy. I got 2 things to say to basically what you just said. The first one is just a random thought. Consider the difference, between us. I'm 33. How old are y'all? I don't think I've ever asked.
36.
How old are you, Liz? Say again?
28.
Okay, so consider the difference between us 3 and what the stereotypical trucker looked like when we were 12 years old.
Right.
We're
I've
we're
never
sitting here,
and I don't have a trucker's hat.
Yeah, man, that is exactly what I mean. We're sitting here on YouTube Live. We're talking about like how you almost got a 389, and I imagine in my head like, picture Liz rolling down like 40 or whatever at a 389 and passing some.
Automatic.
That would have been great.
That
would have been great. That would have been sweet.
Yeah. So do you know how many 389s out there are rolling around that are automatics?
Are there a
People
lot?
would die if they knew how many are automatics.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew they made.
Right,
I knew they made some.
Just the job has changed so much. Even not so the trucking industry used to be like a hardcore job. You know, if you look at some of the older trucks, there were no amenities. There were hardly inverters. There was like you didn't have fridges. And now we had to turn off our surround sound and TV so that we could chat with you while we had our oven and cooking some burgers earlier, and got some cold drinks out of our fridge. You know, so
man.
I say this a lot. Like the cost of entry into trucking has significantly dropped. So you get a ton of people that are just normal people that drive a truck.
Yeah, man. And then it's just so cool. I think it's so cool. So Johnson's logic is just constantly, he said I have $1 million smile, but I know he's probably just trashing me again. So I'm thinking about banning this guy. I don't really even know what to do with him right now. What'd you say?
I said you do.
I think he's just talking trash though.
So if 10 Count wants more information about exactly where we got the truck, I mean, feel free to drop into the Discord. I'll go over it with anybody in there because that's a little less out in the open. But we try to keep some of our business aspects just kind of to ourselves.
So I am actually trying to. I got your YouTube channel on a banner, if you will. I am not used Quick Switcher. Get around. I'm trying to get the invite link. You know, for the last spot in the lot.
Yeah.
But I'm having trouble right now.
Liz is on the chat. I'll get it in just a second.
Okay, cool. So everybody just pay attention to the chat. Liz is in the chat in Discord. Thank you, Johnson's Logic. Liz, what's the plan for an APU? Hold on real fast.
I was going to say, I want to circle back to the APU.
Yeah, we're going to highlight that real quick. But real fast, just on the Discord, Matt just mentioned Discord. If you give them some time, eventually you're going to see in the comments, they're going to drop in the comments an invite link for the Discord last spot in the lot. I laughed when I saw the title. I was like, man,
exciting it is when you get in there and you're like, that's a spot.
Dude, I explained that to my wife. Like, sometimes it is the little things, man. And the last spot in the lot, dude, oh my goodness, man. It was like the universe is smiling at you, you know? Golly.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions. I want to cover the APU one first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll move to Matt's question. Plan for APU.
So, APUs are not free.
Yeah.
They cost a lot. So this wasn't exactly planned for us to quit our job and turn in the truck and then find employment. So we're on the mindset of if you can't buy it 2 or 3 times over, you really can't afford it, especially in this business. So an APU installed, the one that we're looking at, is $11,500. So technically we have that money in the bank, but we want more money in the bank before we drop $11,500.
Yeah, because a really great way to keep yourself from getting really stressed out in life in general is to have money in the bank.
Amen. Yeah.
You can keep
Didn't
the
we
stack
talk
of cash.
about that?
Yeah.
We talked about that the other day on the phone.
Yeah.
All the problems in trucking.
Money.
Stack of money.
The money.
Yeah. A big stack of money.
Keep your blood pressure down if you just have that emergency fund, I guess
But
we'll call it.
we are looking at Green APU.
Yeah.
And if they want to sponsor the channel, I'll drop their name so many times. But I think that's what we're going to go with.
Dude, I don't know how long Green APU's been out. I hadn't really done the research, but they are really picking up steam. At least I hear so much more about them these days.
They are.
Well, yeah. What is it? Just Trucking?
Yeah.
You got a sponsor promo. He drops that bad boy every chance he can.
Yeah.
But, it has double the output on the AC side. The BTUs, the measurement of. Yeah. So it has double than a Thermo King.
Oh.
I like that.
Yeah. And of course the whole tensioner thing that everybody talks about with them.
Well, a lot of their parts are off the shelf.
Yeah, that too. So
you can pick them up at like a auto parts store.
And we had the Thermo King on the Prime truck, and it was good. I mean, 2 trucks I think we had with it, and it served us well on both of them. And it was nice having the shops to go to, pretty much anywhere in the country. But Green APU, from what I can tell, does work with a lot of smaller shops. So even though they don't have their own brand shop everywhere, they do work with independent shops. And a lot of the parts and work look like it would be something that we could do. We keep a fairly stocked tool bag on the truck. So we'll try it out.
Yeah, awesome. And I didn't know all of their parts were right there in stores as well.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty tight.
What was your criteria for looking at it? Well, it had to have a engine that could pull freight. It had to be
already built, preferably.
Yeah. We really didn't have a huge criteria. Once we hit the roadblock of there wasn't a whole lot of trucks available, our pickiness got very, very cleared out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So towards the end, we were even possibly considering a Freightliner. It was a maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas beforehand, it would have been a hard no.
Yeah. I mean, I always say Freightliners are great for solo guys, or if you are a superhuman and can sleep while going down the road in a Freightliner, more power to you. They're great. They're cheap to run. They're, every place will work on them, but it's just not for us, not for this team.
Yeah, man. Wow. When you said the word Freightliner, I was like, man, I'm so glad Junior Honduras is not in here right now. He would have loved to jump on the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
As soon as we saw the picture of this truck, we were like, where do we send the money? How soon can we get this truck?
Yeah.
I mean, we asked a lot more questions than that, but I don't know. We were like, you have how many? And they're available? Okay. Where do we send the money? Yeah. How long do we plan on trucking?
Well, there's not a firm cut. There's not like 4 years and we're out. So I mean, as everyone knows, this job, Junior did pop in.
Oh my goodness.
If you say Freightliner 3 times, my man pops in wherever you are. There's not like a set time for us. This job does kind of wear you down physically if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So, and even a lot more now. There's a few people that I talk with on a daily basis, and they had back issues from just riding down the road and things like that. So we kind of want to exit out before we have to get out.
Yeah.
We still want our health and just being, physically able to do the job and things like that. So, I mean, a rough guess, probably 5 years if we're still having fun.
I don't know. We're already at what?
3?
So I would love 5, but I'm realistically thinking we might be in it closer to like the 7, 8.
Yeah.
10-year range would be our realistic limit. But we'll see how quickly we can get alternative plans together and stack up money, I guess. I don't know.
Big shout out to Junior Honduras. He either was here or indeed popped in. Johnson Logic's asking him how the automatic's doing. We appreciate you popping in, Junior. That's great. That is great. So let's see here. There was a question I had in my head. Now I'm trying to remember it. Oh, I do remember. This was I'm almost returning back into a little bit of the YouTube community. What's happening right now? I don't know if you saw, but there was a video. I don't remember. My phone's sitting in front of me. I don't remember the exact title, but it said something to the effect of, driver lineup uploaded. Oh, I super miss her. I didn't think it was going to be this hard, right? And first half of the video or something, he's talking about Captain Dave, his new trainee. But in the latter portion of the video, he's talking about how bad he misses Jenna being on the truck. And, it's just kind of rough. I thought it was kind of cool. And then he posted a picture of Jenna on his community page, just wanted to see, like, if you saw that, have you ever considered the possibility of, running solo or having two trucks or anything of that nature, how you would deal with that? Y'all been together so long, dude. Like, yeah.
we were actually watching that video right before we set up to do this live.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't really foresee us doing the job unless we're kind of teaming. I don't really have any interest in doing it fully solo, and I don't think she does either. I don't want to speak for you, but
no. Honestly, before I had ever considered truck driving, well, I guess the job that I was at, shout out to my old boss, Q, he pulled me aside. He said, "You know what you guys need to do? You guys need to do truck driving." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, team trucking. You sleep, he drives. He drives, you sleep. You do that, and you guys can make so much money." I was like, okay. And we were broke, and our car had just broke down, so we were like scrambling. What are we gonna do? We have this house payment that we'd never been late on, but what are we gonna do? We don't have this money. And so I went home and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about truck driving? Like team truck driving?" He was like, "You would do that?" I was like, if we were able to be together doing it, I would do it. And he went to work on the research, and we started watching all the YouTube videos. So
I think that is so cool, man. I think that is so cool. I'm pretty sure I speak for a lot of people, whether it's like husband, wife, either side of the tennis court or whatever. I'm pretty sure I speak for a lot of people in saying, like, we are almost jealous in a sense. Like, there are so many of us who have other, like for me, I have like kids, other people have kids, or, maybe a spouse has like another job that they're like, 7 years deep into, they can't just go trucking right now. You know what I mean? Like, whether they're the director of some place, but like, man, dude, y'all are living the life. Like, when you see, most of the time when you see married couples in truck stops, they're like, pushing Medicare, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like, it is very rare you see like a young married couple just hanging out. I think that is so awesome. I swear y'all are like living a life that you will be able to just sit and talk and laugh about for hours later, man. Hours, dude.
It takes liking being around your spouse in order to team with your spouse 24/7.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart, and it is definitely a relationship test. If you are on shaky ground, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rough days, there's a lot of really good days, and it takes that team dynamic to kind of get through it.
Yeah, I can tell that's true because of what I've heard from other people. I've heard some other drivers say like they tried it, and then the one of them got off the truck like as soon as they could find the first thing smoking back to the terminal or back to the house, they were gone. So I did want to ask about the team dynamic, your personal team dynamic, right? So some people have a certain relationship dynamic in general where one person does certain things, right? Like, lawn care at my house is mine. Okay. There's not a question about it. There's no like, well, who's going to cut the grass this weekend? It's going to be me. I just, I've accepted that. Right. So like, are there certain things on the truck that like are yours, are his, or, how do y'all do that? How do y'all do that?
Well, I'm not a very good cook, and being in a tight space, it just doesn't work well for me. So Liz does a lot of the cooking, and I think she enjoys it most of the time.
For me, it's like I don't want to call it a meditation, but I feel really accomplished when I cook. I love cooking at home. So for me, I don't know, I guess it's kind of stereotypical for the wife to be the cook, but it gives me a lot of joy, and I love the challenge of cooking on the truck. I love this microwave oven thing that a friend of mine put me on to, and so I don't know, for me it's really rewarding. So I do that.
Yeah, there's not
things.
really, we don't like keep score of like, you know,
Yeah.
I did this, I got 1 point here. Now you gotta do something to make up for it. You know, we're a team in the aspect. You know, if she's tired and doesn't feel like backing, I'll hop up there and you know, back it in that tight space that's at the truck stop, so nothing happens. Or you know, if I'm not feeling very social today, she'll help me out and like, you know, go take the paperwork in. Or if I'm not getting anywhere with the angry person inside, you know, she'll go in and soften the approach.
Send the other part of the team.
Or if an agent or broker that gets a little loose and they're talking, I'll take over and we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really like specific things that we do. We just kind of fill in where it needs to be filled in.
Yeah. How about, I'm curious about this. I think this is more of a personal thing, right? How about the numbers, right? Like I like to look at numbers and everything. Are one of you like the numbers person and then you run the numbers and then you brief the other one? Do you both do it? How does that work?
Well, so we kind of do it. I don't know. There's different aspects. Like if it's something really important, like stuff preparing for our tax, we'll kind of wait until we have one of these off days and we'll kind of sit down and kind of crunch the numbers together. But if it's something like, you know, what we need to move over on our fuel card or something like that, we just kind of take the initiative when it needs to happen and just kind of let the other know.
Yeah.
But we don't have to like stop and have a powwow about it. You know, we both have enough trust in each other that you'll make the best call that you can in this situation. So I mean, there's a lot of leeway. I don't need to be briefed on everything. She doesn't need to be briefed on everything. But if it's something important that I think that we do need that communication, you know, we'll stop and you know, even on a 30-minute break or something like that, we'll crunch some numbers, or we'll call the agent and kind of book the load, or we'll like look over the loads together and decide what we want to do. Because I mean, either of us can call and book the load. That's not an issue, but it's just kind of common courtesy, I guess, to let the other one check it out and see what they think. And, you know, we kind of brainstorm a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or I thought it was weird, but when we came over to Landstar, because we were used to Prime, you take advances for your fuel card. So you have to determine how much fuel you'll use on that trip or that week, however much you want to take out. They do give you limits per a load. So that is a little bit of math, and that took me a little while to get used to doing that math. But I think we've gotten in the groove now with how much to take out for each load. So, because at first I was like, do you think this is enough? Should I take out more? Like, I don't know. But yeah, and I guess that was one kind of different thing, because we had a guy going over our settlements for the first few weeks, and he said, what is this advance? And I said, oh, that's for our fuel card. I was like, oh, that makes sense. But he was like, I don't see that all the time. So I don't know, something interesting I thought about Landstar.
Yeah, and it rolls over, you know, if you don't use it. Am I right? Yeah, okay.
Because it stays on that calm data card.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you have to play the balance of, do you take the full amount and use it for a few trips? What if something happens on it and you can't? Yeah, I don't know. You don't always want to take out all of the money on each trip, but you also don't want to cut yourself short.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, let me check out the comments, make sure we don't have anything going on here. Can't wait to get my permit to move forward. Awesome, Eddie. Hey, we're going to be out here. Look, we're coming up on 8 o'clock. We don't have any other comments. So I'm going to ask you, let's see, one more question here. What would you say to, you know, either one of these? You can choose one, okay? Either a married couple who were, you know, in a similar position, whether they were like just, they are right now just straight broke, trying to figure it out, you know, and they're thinking about doing what you did. Now, also taking in mind that just like you said, like, you know, while I haven't been through it, I can imagine, like, you know, it's the truth. You want to jump in a truck with your spouse, like, there's no escape. There's no somebody leaves the truck when you get mad. You know, what would you say to somebody in that position? Or what would you say to someone who may feel like you felt, whether Prime or somewhere else? Prime, it's not really a Prime thing. When you said just your interest didn't align with Prime's interest as far as the way you wanted to run, because that can literally happen absolutely anywhere, right?
Right.
So choose one of those. What would you say to someone, hey, look, either one.
So maybe we could answer both. I'll answer the second one. Liz can answer the first one. What do you say to that?
I like it. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's see. The second one you asked, what would I say to somebody that's kind of feeling like the company's not for them anymore, or their ideals are not aligning? So there's a few things in trucking that you have to have in order to progress your career. One of those is experience. So after the first year, there's so many doors that open up. It's unbelievable. You can almost go anywhere. After the second year, you can walk on to almost any company out there, as long as you have a clean driving record and you keep your stuff in order. So I would say don't get bogged down in trying to make it work if you have already seen that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, there's no changing these big companies, and I don't hold it against Prime. What we wanted out of the job kind of changed as we did the job. So it's not a Prime thing, and I don't hate Prime or anything like that. It was, they have an idea of how they want their trucks to run and what makes them profitable. And we had an idea of how we wanted to run. And those things just didn't line up. And instead of us fighting to kind of get the pass to join again, we just thanked them for the opportunity and we moved on. So there's just so many trucking jobs out there now. Like, once you've established the experience and you have a clean record, I mean, the sky's the limit. So I don't advocating job hopping, of course. So you have to make a huge effort into putting a ton of research in to make sure you're going to the right place, so you don't end up working here for a month, quitting, going somewhere else, because the grass is not always greener. But if you find the pasture that you want to graze in for a while, it's out there.
Absolutely. So Liz, before you go, I really want to highlight something he just said, okay? Because I have this I remember it's on my list in my phone for ideas. And that is, if you are like a more rookie driver than I am, because I've only been here like a year and a half, hear what he just said, okay? After your first year, a lot of doors open up. I see from so many people who are frustrated at the 6-month mark, at the 8-month mark, or they get one opportunity from I think it's Rail or somebody will hire you after 9 months or something like that. They get one opportunity this 9-month, that CPM is 2 cents more than wherever they are, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. Dude, no, it's not gonna look good. Okay, hold tight, sit the seat for the year, just like you said. And then after 2 years, don't even more, just like you said, virtually almost everywhere, they're gonna take you. But you gotta, it's no hippie. He likes to say, don't skip the struggle.
Exactly.
You got to do your time. Okay, Liz. So
but
I want you to take, the one about, if you were talking to somebody who was in your shoes, but also if you can get 10 counts question as well.
We met through cars, actually.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of mutual friends, and we met kind of through car meets and stuff like that.
Yeah, we went to a couple car meets, met each other. Then
the end.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
His DMs one time on Instagram. He would claim that he had slid into my DMs many times and I ignored him. But then when I'm interested, it's I took the initiative. But yeah, I mean, we always did car stuff together, and I don't know, we were both mechanics at one point in our life, and we had that going. So, I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of other stuff in common. It's not like we just had cars, but
yeah,
we just have a lot of common interests. But I think we have a lot of respect for each other and the things that we enjoy doing on our downtime. I like playing Animal Crossing. He has the games on his phone, and we have an Xbox, and I mean, there's other stuff too, but just mutual respect goes a long way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, let's close it out with this one. What would you say to someone if they were just in your shoes, a married couple, and they were, just hard down on, times, and they're thinking like, man, why don't we just hop in a truck together? Is that something, they should take seriously, or?
It's you. It's your turn.
How tough are the times? I mean, how much do you get along when you're at home, and how tough are the times?
Yeah.
We felt like this was really our only option. But we also knew that we got along when we were in the garage. We did a lot of projects together. We spent a lot of our off time with each other. So we knew we would probably be able to stand each other in a 8-foot by 6-foot space.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not for everyone.
Your relationship cannot be shaky.
If
there is any faults, you will find them and exploit them when you're angry.
Very, very quickly.
Well, I mean, we sold
path.
everything that had value at the house, and we gambled it all on coming to Prime and getting our CDLs. And not only just getting our CDLs, but both of us had to pass.
Yeah.
And both of us had to enjoy the job enough to actually do it. So it was a big gamble. And if you have any interest in trucking and you have a solid relationship, I would say do it. It's pretty awesome riding around with your best friend, making money.
But like you said, a lot of people have other options. I mean, I went to college, but I'm just not somebody that likes a desk job. I'm not made for it.
Yeah.
So I was really, really interested in this. And I think it's worked out great for both of us. I'm glad that we both enjoy it. But I mean, I've definitely seen some failures of people getting into it, having a plan, and then it kind of all falls apart.
Cannot be shaky.
Yeah. I bet, man. That is awesome. Look, we're out of questions, y'all. And we're a little bit above an hour, so I'm going to get out of here. No Luck Trucking, y'all. I thank y'all so much for coming on live. Glad we were able to connect. We'll have to do this again soon. Maybe 3 more months. That way, now you're in the 6th month mark. We'll have to do it again. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Junior,
all right, everybody.
Question.
Say again?
Got one more.
Oh, yeah. Junior's got a question. Tim West asked this while Junior is typing his question. Y'all went together. They probably didn't catch you when you said it.
Yeah, we went through at the same time, and everyone always asks if we had separate TNT trainers, which we did. You definitely cannot have 3 people in a truck. It is not big enough. So yeah, we went through the same time. I got a trainer first, and then Liz, at that time they had a shortage of trainers. So she was doing pad training, and she started TNT about 2 or 3 weeks after.
It was about 2 weeks, yeah.
So I stayed past my 30,000 miles. I did almost 43,000 miles on my trainer's truck until we could kind of align when we both came in.
Yeah. But his trainer's truck was the one that finally convinced him that we should do a lease, which I think was key to a lot of things. So
yeah, certainly.
For that.
Certainly.
So I loved our training. I know maybe that's
What is the question?
What's your take on the training at Prime Inc? Maybe looking back, it's rose-colored glasses, but I really don't think so. I mean, the questionnaire for matching up with a trainer, I think, was really good for me. At least my trainer was excellent. So
my idea on it is, I think Prime did a really good job on the training. A lot of people don't like the number of miles that you have to run, but I mean, it taught us enough that we went out on our own day one, and we weren't hitting low-hanging bridges or backing into trucks or anything like that. I mean, it's not fun. Nobody can sugarcoat it. It wasn't the best time. I don't want to do it again. Yeah. But we knew that was the obstacle that you had to get over in order to set our life up for a better at the end. So it's kind of put your head down and get through it type deal.
Yeah. And I think we almost had an advantage that won't apply to most people, but having two different trainers, we both learned things from the different trainers and kind of brought that together to be a more successful truck. We definitely had some rocky first couple loads, but we got through it, didn't hit anything. And I think we both learned really valuable stuff from both of those trainers.
Yeah, so I think that's awesome.
Recommend Prime to anyone. Like I was the biggest Prime cheerleader for the longest time, and I still am. Like, I mean, we just, like you said, we had different interests, so we had to go our separate way. But I'm still Team Prime if you're trying to get your CDL.
No hard feelings for them.
Yeah.
We still tell people that's where to go because I do think it is probably one of the best training companies.
Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree. All right, y'all, we're checking out. I really appreciate y'all coming in. You already know what the motto is. Work hard, play hard, sleep hard. Find you somebody to love. Don't forget, it is not about what you believe. It's all about why you believe it. And live free.